Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are ready to do our rendition of Artemis 5, which is not exactly the planned rendition since our logistics vehicle is already there and being reused from an earlier logistics vehicle that we decided to build. And at this point, we're making some modifications to our HLS. Specifically, we're adding a bunch of reaction wheels because I feel like we really need more control authority over that HLS when it's fully fueled on the way in, because that got really dicey last time we landed, mostly because the turn speed was very low. That could have gone badly. It didn't, but it could have. So let's put this out on the pad. Do we have the correct crew here? Yeah, it's good enough. That'll do. So we'll just launch this, and we're going to take them up to the Lunar Gateway. So that is the current mission here, is to get this Orion craft up to the Lunar Gateway. Should be absolutely fine. We'll have some excess fuel even. We'll be a little heavier than some of our usual flights, but not heavier than, I think, our initial Lunar Gateway flight. So that should be absolutely fine. We know that we've got plenty to get there. We'll throttle up, we'll put this on kill rot, and double check the staging before we go this time. Yeah, there's definitely a problem here. What is this? Yeah, I don't want that engine plate there. So we're not going to do that. We're going to bring this guy up over here. This will be these two decouplers. Yep, that looks good. That is all correct. Yes, then that decoupler, then this chute. Yeah, that'll be manually decoupled, and then the radial mount parachutes. Okay, now I think we're good. So let's lift this thing off, and off we go. Fantastic. So this is, of course, an extremely powerful rocket, although it has honestly nothing on the super heavy booster in terms of raw power. There's no doubt about that. But let's just bring this guy right on up and get ourselves to somewhere around a 10-kilometer apoapsis or so. That'll be absolutely fine. Let's put ourselves in orbital mode. Okay, that looks good. So 7, 8, 9, and 10 kilometers. We're heading on over. Right on that 90-degree heading. I like it. Yeah, that's very solid. No issue whatsoever there. Just going to park it here, and then lock it to prograde once prograde arrives. There we go. So our apoapsis is maybe not the highest thing in the world. That's for sure. But it doesn't really need to be, as long as time to apoapsis is going up. That said, we're going to run out of SRB here in about 15 seconds, and we'll see what that apoapsis looks like at that point. We're putting most of our power into horizontal speed at this juncture, and our overall altitude is not actually all that high. It's only about 40 kilometers right now. But 3, 2, 1, and there go the SRBs. Beautiful. So that is looking absolutely fine for the moment. Time to apoapsis is still going up, so we are completely okay here. We're just going to lock this to prograde. No need to be concerned. Beautiful. To be clear, if that was not going up, we would get more vertical speed by coming this direction. So we're just going to sit here at prograde until we hit about 200-kilometer apoapsis. We could go higher than that if we wanted to. We've got plenty of juice in this tank. No doubt about that, but I think 200 kilometers is more than enough. So that looks reasonably solid at this point. And we'll do our circularization burn at that point. 170, 180, 190, and 201. Close enough. So that'll do, and we're going to add our maneuver here, circularize that on up. Beautiful. There we go. How did we do on that inclination anyway? 0.1. I like it. That's really solid. We can get rid of our launch escape system at this point. That is not necessary to remain around. We should also definitely extend our solar panels. Now, we are slow to turn at this point, and at this juncture, we could actually hop into our service bay here and turn on all of these reaction wheels. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I can grab this one, 6, 7, and 8. So that'll get all of those reaction wheels turned on, and we'll be able to turn much more speedily at this time. So that looks solid. We've got about 5 minutes to finish up this turn, and of course with all of those reaction wheels, that won't be a problem. This is probably a roughly similar amount of weight to our HLS, and it definitely is rotating faster than our HLS. Because this is a little longer, but it's a little not as wide. So there is that. Well, we'll just warp on forward here. And let's commence this burn in approximately 1 minute. 50 seconds, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. So let's just get ourselves into a nice orbit here. Nice and circular. Okay, we're entering orbital mode now. We're officially in orbit, and this is pretty close to circular. Somewhere around here or so. Only 3 kilometers off. That'll do. That kill rot was pretty quick. Okay, I like it. Those reaction wheels definitely doing some work here. So we of course need to head out to the moon. 0.1 degree inclination should not be a significant issue. We'll do a burn sometime around here. We want this to be a retrograde orbit, of course. So we're going to need to probably prograde it up a little bit and change the timing on it. This would do. That would actually be absolutely fine. Let's align to that node, and we can physics warp this turn, but it should go much faster than previous turns due to carrying all those extra reaction wheels. That will not be the case, to be clear, on future Artemis flights. So we'll just get into position for this burn, about right here or so, and we'll warp on forward. We've got about 10 minutes to warp. Cool. So this is going to burn out all of the fuel in this stage and a little bit of the fuel in this stage. That is noted. Definitely a little less fuel than we've had on previous flights, but that is absolutely expected. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. And off we go to the moon. So this last little section of the burn is going to be substantially longer than this first section. It'll be at a lot lower thrust to weight. No doubt about that. And off we go. Excellent. I mean, this isn't terrible thrust to weight. This is still about a thrust to weight of 1. So that's really not too bad, all things considered. We've got about 5 seconds of burn time left here. 2, 1, 0. And let's get that last little bit in there. That'll do. And we'll put that on kill rot. This thing is going to rotate super, super quickly at this point. Now, I'm going to warp us here, just to see if that'll move, and it didn't. So we'll add a maneuver here, and we are going to retrograde this. Out of curiosity, I don't suppose we're already in a conjunction with the Lunar Gateway. No, we're not. Okay, that's fine. So we're just going to look to circularize this. No problem. This is a little too much. Yeah, somewhere around here. And that'll be 0.8 degrees off. Sure, whatever. That is absolutely fine. Let's align to that node. We should probably remember to extend this communitron, but it doesn't actually matter since we have crew on board. Cool. So it'll be about 460 meters per second to get ourselves into orbit of the moon. No issue at all. Cool. So we've got a lot of fuel left here, of course. It won't take us very much fuel to get ourselves docked up to the Lunar Gateway. Let's zone into the sphere of influence of the moon, which we're doing right now. There we go. And preparing to commence our braking burn now that we are at the moon. So 50 seconds to go. 40, 30, 20, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Technically, this was like 1 second late. It's fine. It'll be absolutely okay. It does not matter. How are we doing with physics warping this? It's not bad. Okay, looks good. So wrapping up this burn here, 3, 2, 1, and that's good enough. Put that in kill rot, and yep, this will definitely do. So we are off by 0.8 degrees in our inclination. We could definitely fix that, and we're going to have to do an orbit anyway. So I'm going to do a small inclination change here, not that way. Yeah, about right here. Only 3.8 meters per second for that one. So that's a very, very, very minor burn. Okay, let's warp over to that. That'll be in about an hour and a half. No problem. And we'll commence that burn in about 1 minute. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Now, I'm not throttling this up to full. That'll do. Okay. So something along the lines of that. Now, we'll need to find ourselves a rendezvous with the Lunar Gateway, and that'll be probably after an orbit or two. Although, orbits are going to move a lot since we're so far above it. Yeah, that would be reasonably fine right there. 1.2 kilometer separation, 106.2 meters per second relative speed. We can work with that. I like it. That looks absolutely fine. So we'll align to that burn, which is going to be in about 3.5 hours, a little bit over. No problem whatsoever. We'll line up pretty close, and let's warp. Cool. So once we arrive at the Lunar Gateway, we're going to need to... Well, I'm thinking right now about how exactly it's going to work, because the HLS is going to be loose. We're going to have to do our maneuvering with this and not with the gateway. That's fine. That's the way stations should work ultimately. Yeah, that's definitely going to be the way that's going to have to work. Okay, burn is commencing now. Excellent. 1.3 meters per second. We'll just get that last little bit. That'll do. And at this point, we are coming in over here. Now, we're coming this direction, so we should go about here or so. We'll just warp on around and get ourselves into position alongside this tanker ship. It's not actually the tanker ship. It's actually the Lunar Gateway. And we're going to want to move this around to the retrograde side here and do a quick adjustment burn. Although at this distance, it's not going to be perfect, right? But that's okay. So we'll just bring this in to about here or so. Just doing a very, very, very small adjustment there. What does that do? 0.3 kilometers? I can work with that. So we're going to go to relative velocity minus. And we want to warp in a little bit closer to our Lunar Gateway now. So we're just going to head on in over here. Okay, we've definitely drifted a little bit, and that is reasonably expected. Ah, right. Are we control locked? What is happening right now? We shouldn't be control locked. Okay, we need to commence this burn. That was intriguing. We're not control locked at all. I don't know why I wasn't able to turn there. That was weird. Regardless, it seems to have fixed itself, so that is fine. That is not the series of buttons that I intended to hit. We need to make our way around this direction. Okay. We're currently tumbling a bit. Oh, are we out of power? We're out of power. Okay. That explains it. That absolutely would explain it. That is not, I suppose, hugely surprising since we don't have a lot of electric charge storage capacity. Okay, that's fine. We're a kilometer out. We can just wait here until such a time as we have sunlight again. This is not a problem that is going to be in future flights. This is because those reaction wheels really suck down the juice. And that shouldn't be an issue either for the HLS. So for the time being, we're just waiting until the sun peeks out, and there it is. Hello, sun. So we are going to get ourselves around to over here or so. I want to burn towards target here. Actually, a little bit over this direction. So about there. So we're now heading into target. And we can see that we are in a slightly awkward angle, but I think that we want to shoot past this, right? We want to overshoot. Our target is actually up over here. Okay, that's noted. So with that being the case, we don't necessarily want to overshoot. So let's bring this around, because this is our target right up over here. So we're going to bring it around, and I want to commence a burn out over... Put this in kill rot, please. Out over, not this direction, but over here or so. Okay. There we go. That'll do. I want to be controlling from here, and we want to, for the moment, be heading this way. We're not heading directly towards the target, and that is A-okay. So we're going to head this direction. Looks good. Yep, that looks very, very solid indeed. Cool. Now we're going to head to relative velocity minus, and we're going to kill our relative speed, although I think we're not quite where we want to be yet. Let's just let this line up a little bit more. About here. And let's bring that relative speed down to 0. That'll do. We'll put this in kill rot, and I want to target this Clampatron docking port. Control from here, point at target. Those reaction wheels are pretty insane, no doubt about that. And we're not in exactly a perfect orientation here, but we don't really need to be. So let's just bring this in at a gentle rate, about 1 meter per second. That'll do. Rotating ourselves over and turning RCS on, we're going to need to go a bit down. And we're going to need to go a bit to the right here. So that's out this way. Okay. So with those vectors composed together, we're just going to get ourselves into our approximate position. Just letting this line up a little bit. We're not quite in that right position yet, but we're to get there before the vertical position. I'm 99% certain about that. So that looks good. We're almost there, but by no means are we there yet. Once it's lined up on like this vector, that's what we're looking for. But that looks pretty solid overall. How are we doing on monoprop? We used 2 monoprop there? Okay. Seems absolutely fine. Cool. We are almost lined up in this vector here. I'm going to bring us back. Maybe even a very slight overshoot on this side. Okay, so we're just going to put it about here. Looking good. Bringing it back a little bit here. And in terms of verticality, we're very close here. I'm going to start bringing that down. We're not quite exactly where we need to be yet, but we're very, very close to it. Docking forces will likely take it from here. So let's just bring this in and maybe do a little bit of braking as well, although we can't actually brake. I just realized that. We can't brake with this, so we're going to impact at 1 meter per second. It's probably okay. Yeah. 1 meter per second is definitely a little awkward. Okay, let's head in at this speed. That's going to be more like it. I forgot that we don't have retro thrusters on this particular design. That is a bit of a design oversight. We should probably fix that. And let's just head downward a bit here. There we go. The rocking has gotten under control, which is nice, but we definitely need a little bit more verticality here. There we go. We can see the docking forces are definitely having an effect here. No doubt about that. And we're docked up. So that was not the cleanest docking in the world. No doubt about that. Let's pull the fuel out of this tank that remains. This tank is no longer necessary for us. The HLS is already fully fueled, and we're going to need to do some modification to the HLS, right? But for now, we're going to pull this fuel in here, because this is no longer necessary. We do not need to keep this around. There we go. So that excess fuel gets transferred over to the tanker, and we'll decouple this. And that's out of here. So the Orion spacecraft is now attached here. So we're going to want to move these parts over. So that's going to be intriguing. How are we going to go about doing that? Well, we're obviously going to need Bill to EVA. That is step one. Do we have RCS on here? No, we don't. Okay, that's fine. So Bill is going to EVA, and we're going to open up our service bay. Step one is we need to remove the struts here. So we're just going to move them up into here for now. These struts can absolutely be removed. There we go. So that's mission number one. Mission number two is going to be to take these reaction wheels out, and I think we'll just stack them up for the moment on this docking port. Obviously, this is a temporary location for them. We don't want them to remain there long term. That would be very foolish. But we just need to get all 8 of them out of here. We also do not currently have the docking, or rather the station, in a stable position. It is tumbling a little bit. So that is noted. We're going to want to fix that. Well, let's just get the last of these out of the service bay here. There we go. And then we could do the same with these cubic octagonal struts. So I'm just going to stack these up out over here. Something kind of like this. Cool. So that's 3, 4, half of them. 5, 6, 7, and where's that last one? There it is. Okay, so that'll do for now. So next up, this service bay is done. We do not need to do anything else with that. We can have Bill let go here, and Bill, I would like you to find a location up over here that you can grab onto. Perhaps right here. It's a little bit out of reach of this. Okay. I was hoping that this would be in reach. We might be able to reach... It's on the far side. That's not hugely useful. Okay. Let's just board for the moment. And freeze physics. There we go. So Bill is going to need to install these upgrades. And at this point, I think that this is going to be a next episode sort of thing. So these upgrades are definitely going to be installed, but not quite yet. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.